Well folks, a very good morning to you. Kayaker here. Good to have your company as always. Today I'm off to a little village known as South Kyme in Lincolnshire. The nearest town I guess would be probably Sleaford, and we're going for a paddle on the River Slea. It's about a 45-minute drive, about 50 minutes probably from my house. The van's loaded. I'm just going to finish off my cup of tea and we're going to make tracks, so I'll catch up with you very shortly. Well folks, I've just arrived here in South Kyme. Absolutely beautiful morning, 12 degrees. Check the weather. The wind is supposed to be getting up around 10 o'clock to I think 24 mile an hour, so I'm conscious of that. I think the way I'm going to be paddling will be eastbound, so if the wind does get up, I'm going to have the wind up my backside, but coming back it's going to be full on into the wind, so I am conscious of that. But I have to say, it's a lovely morning. The river looks incredibly calm and still. There's a bit of a flow to my left, which I'll be going with, but it's crystal clear. I mean, I can see every pebble and fish, and I mean, it looks like trout in the river. I'm no real fish expert, granted, but they do look like trout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my kayak set up and get on this water as quickly as I possibly can. I really can't wait. Well folks, finally on the water, and what a glorious morning it actually is. I'm paddling with the wind behind me at the moment, so you know it's all nice and easy, and I'm just kind of, I can stop paddling and I'll keep moving. First time on this river Slea. Don't really know much about it, to be fair. It's a bit of a spur of the moment kind of decision to come here this morning. I drove past here earlier on in the week to go and look at a job, and I thought, you know what, that looks quite inviting. So I'd done a little bit of research, just like tiny little bit of research on the internet last night, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to come and give it a go and see what we've got. Now I went on to Google Earth, and it seems that about 2 miles from, I'm paddling sort of eastbound. Now the River Slea, as I understand, if you paddle eastbound, will then go into the River Witham, which takes up most of Lincolnshire, I think. And there's a place there called Chapel Hill. Now I know Chapel Hill a little bit. There's a caravan park there, some jetties. So, sorry I'm squinting here, blooming sun is blinding. So the plan is that I'm going to paddle to Chapel Hill, which is about 4 miles, there or thereabouts. But around 2 miles there is something, I don't know what it is, I can't make out what it is on Google Earth. I can't find any information, but it looks, I don't know whether it's an old disused lock or something, I really don't know, but I can make out something on Google Earth. It's about 2 miles outbound, and I'm kind of thinking it looks like a really good wild camping spot. Oh, a bit of shade from that sun. So I'm really eager to see what that has to offer. So I'm going to stop there. If the wind is picked up by the time I get there, I'm going to cook some breakfast and paddle back. If the wind is still as it is, then I'll carry on to Chapel Hill. But just for the moment, I'm going to sit back in my comfortable seat and enjoy this river that, I have to say, looks incredibly inviting. Do you know, I've paddled on, you know, 1 or 2 rivers in the last 10 months, and I have to say that this River Slea so far has the most amount of ducks on it of all the rivers that I've paddled on. But I tell you something, it's better than blooming swans, isn't it? I'll take ducks over swans any day of the week. Well, it's just gone 7:30. I've been paddling for about 20 minutes. I launched just after 7 o'clock this morning. It's a funny old morning actually. Like 1 minute the river is proper still calm, like not a ripple, and then all of a sudden, bang, it gets really quite choppy. You know, that wind gets up and it changes the character of the river completely. But it's still a very, very nice morning. I am wary of this wind. It really is sort of picking up, and as I say, at the moment I've got it behind me, so you know, life is very, very easy. Coming back, well, that's going to be completely different. I'm going to be burning some calories, I think. But whatever happens, I am determined to get to this little area that I was on about earlier, you know, because I really want to check that out for a bit of wild camping. The river is quite shallow, to be fair. I'm trying to keep to the middle. I suppose it's about 25 meters wide, average. and if you go too close to the edges, it's just, the weed is incredible. I've picked up loads in my bloody paddles, I've had it in the boat. Very, very clear, the water, and in the middle I would assume it's about 6 foot deep, so you know, quite shallow actually. But typically high banks left and right, can't see a great deal. I noticed a lot of what I would think would be feral cats, lots of them. I pulled over the side a little while ago, and the blooming feral cat frightened the life out of me. And they look like feral cats. I've seen about 3 or 4 of those, which is the first time for me. I'm just enjoying the paddle this morning. I'm not going mad. I'm not in any race. I've no rush to get home. I'm just going to try to really enjoy today. Having said that, I think on the horizon I can see some blooming swans, and normally this time of year they've got youngsters, so they was swans. Morning. I said morning. Alright, catch up with you on the way back. You can see all this weed here. There are areas or stretches of this river that is just full of that weed. There's some more just there. So I say it wouldn't be long before perhaps paddling on this on the River Slea is not going to be practical. Well, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? Cheers. Right, so in the distance, I think this is that little lock that I was on about. Just because when I went on to Google Earth, it was about 2 miles from South Kyme. So according to Strava, I'm around 2.4 miles. So assuming Google Earth is not that accurate, although I would have thought it would be, because you can actually measure. Just drifting to the left there. So yeah, this is, I think, the little area that I was on about. So let's go and take a closer look. Oh, this ain't looking good. Let me just swing this camera around. I'm going to have to navigate through all this weed and scum to get to... There's obviously a weir there, I can hear it. I can't see it, but I can hear it. But I can see some sort of mooring points just here. So, but there's nowhere else to actually get out the boat. But you can just see how thick, disgusting that is. But I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try to get through here if I can, and I should be able to get out just there. It's probably about 30-40 meters. So wish me luck, and let's go for it. No, I've given up. I'm not making any progress there whatsoever. It is that thick that I just cannot move my kayak at all, which is a bit frustrating really. So I'm gonna see if I can see if there's anything further down where I can actually get out, but it ain't looking great, I have to say. This is just too thick. It stinks, it's disgusting, and I've been trying for sort of 10 minutes and I've made about 2 foot of progress, so that's definitely a no-no. So let's reverse and see if there's anything further behind me, because I am proper determined to have a look to see what that has to offer. Definitely think there's a bit of wild camping in that woodland now. So it's just these banks are, you know, these banks are very, very high on both sides. But anyway, let's have a look. Got a load of this crap sort of bound itself to the bottom of my kayak. I can't seem to get rid of it. It's making the front of the boat very, very heavy. So I think I made the right decision about not persevering trying to get through that. It may be a different time of the year. Might have left it a bit too late in the year, so you know, maybe we come into autumn, winter time. The only problem with that is I'm not really into camping when the weather gets cold. But that little woodland area does look rather inviting. I'd like to have checked that out actually. Gutted. 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 Well, I've had a good look around to see if there's anywhere I could get out of this kayak and have a walk. But there isn't anywhere. It's very high banks and lots of stinging nettles, so I don't fancy that. So my journey's at an end this way, so I'm going to paddle back towards South Kyme, and let's just straighten this boat up. I'm sort of into the wind now, so it's going to be hard going. So that was 2.5 miles from South Kyme to that lock. It took me just an hour and 2 minutes, and that was really sort of stopping and having a drink and messing around. So it's probably going to take me that time again to get back, I would have thought, paddling quite hard. But it is what it is, isn't it? It's still nice to be out on the river, really. Unless it's gale force winds and hammering down the rain, I'm happy. Just sitting here, drifting around, cup of tea. Obviously no whiskey in it or brandy. Wouldn't do anything like that. Far, far too early. So, you know, I could fall asleep. It's that relaxing. Morning. Be like that then. Now after coming out of that sort of thick stuff, which I'm sure had I got out of the kayak I could have walked on it, it was that thick, that dense. I think some of it actually clung to my skeg, so it made paddling quite difficult. There's a lot of rear, I could feel a lot of rear drag. So it was hard going, so I went forward, backwards, spun round, and I think I managed to release it, and it was like a breath of fresh air, because it's gone from paddling very difficult to once again paddling very easy. So I'm currently just trying to find an area where I can maybe pull over and cook some breakfast, because I'm getting hungry. But why I do that, I'm looking for signs of water voles, because I know they're in decline, and I think there's a national survey at the moment. These areas, I've not seen any. I did see one on the river, on the Louth Canal a few weeks ago, but I've not seen any water voles here. And I'm going to look into maybe being a part of that survey. So if you're into wildlife, and because the bank water voles, they are in decline, so maybe for all us paddlers it's something that we could all get involved in. I certainly am, for sure. Hello again. No, can't make out what I'm doing, what I'm up to. I'm sure that's the same one as I it come up to me earlier on. Alright, I'm off. Have a nice day. Ta-da, old son. Now I could easily sort of get out here and cook some breakfast. The problem is that I've counted about 12 cows that are running up and down this sort of bank. Now I know that if I get out and start cooking there, I know from experience that them cows are going to come over and start hassling me. So I'm not gonna take that opportunity of stopping there. But shame really, because it's quite easy to get in and out there. There's a few rocks knocking around, but other than that, it's it would have been a good place to have a stop and stretch the legs. But hey, let's carry on. Well folks, for those of you that possess eagle eyes, you will notice that I'm in a new kayak today. Now I've bought this kayak I've only had it a couple of days, and I've bought it for a few reasons. I've got a couple of friends that own this Go Plus kayak, and I've looked at them and I've studied them, and I thought, do you know what, that might suit me, because I suffer with really bad lower back pain when I'm paddling. I can paddle for literally 15-20 minutes and I'm kind of shuffling around trying to get comfortable, and of course I do get comfortable, but it's only temporary before I'm shuffling again. Real pain in the backside, and let's be honest about it, it can really kind of ruin your sport. So I looked at this kayak and I thought, do you know what, perhaps it could offer me something that my kayaks that I actually own, the Itiwits, don't offer me. So I sort of purchased one, and this is the first time I've had an opportunity to go out paddling in it, and I have to say, wow. Now, like I say, I suffer with really bad lower back pain, and it can really affect my enjoyment when I'm out paddling. But this particular kayak, it kind of reminds me a bit of a stand-up paddle board, but the difference is it's got this section which is sort of hollow, if you like, that you kind of sit in. And compared to the Itiwits, I like that because I feel much lower to the water, and I really like that. The difference between this and my other kayaks is that I've been paddling for well over 2 hours, and I've not had one bit of back pain, not one single bit. And normally by now I'm shuffling around like a lunatic trying to get comfortable, and I just feel like I could paddle and paddle and paddle without having any back pain. Your backside's a bit numb after 2 hours, but that's a different story. The reason being is that the seat is adjacent to the back of this kayak. So I'm 6 foot with my legs touching the front of the kayak. I can kind of really push my back into the base of this seat, and I get no movement from my back. It kind of stays rigid, and I think it's that actually is eliminating the back pain. And I have to say, if you suffer with lower back problems, this kayak could actually change your paddling for you, believe me. The other thing I like about the kayak is the actual back end. You know, you can, and I've seen people get that much kit on the back for an overnight camp. It's phenomenal. So it offers, you know, anyone that's into kayak camping, you can't go wrong. I absolutely love this kayak. It was, I think I paid £280 for it, for a drop stitch kayak. You know, you can't complain. It inflates to 8 psi. That's the actual kayak and the floor, so it's proper solid. It's proper stable. I mean, really stable and effortless to paddle. I mean, I'm going into the wind, and I know that this is a lot easier than it would be if I was in my itty whip. I love it, and I'm really glad I purchased it, and I'm going to be using this really for my solo sort of day trips, and that's about. I'll probably still use my itty whip drop stitch for kayak camping, but just to come out for a paddle with a day bag, I'm going to be in this bad boy until something better comes along, and it would have to be some kayak for me to want to swap with this. Brilliant, 10 out of 10, love it. Well, I think what I'm going to do is have a paddle back to South Kayak, because I did notice there's some picnic benches there and some, you know, 1 or 2 areas where I can cook some breakfast there, although it's very windy now. During that hyperlapse, I really knuckled down and done some hard paddling, and I'm full on into the wind. To say, this kayak makes paddling in these kind of conditions easier. I mean, it's not easy, of course, but it's easier. I'm really impressed. You know, for under £300 for a drop stitch kayak, how could I not be impressed? How would you like to live there? Right on top of the water. Make myself a little pontoon so I could get the kayak in and out. I'd actually keep the kayak moored. We'll have to go through the aggro of pumping it up. What a lovely location. Right, so back safely to South Kyme, just got the boat out of the water, and I can notice, I don't know if you can see that, just there is a watch in the water. Oh look, and there's a golf ball. I'm a bit concerned about that golf ball because the golf course is way over there, so someone's had a really wayward tee shot. Actually, I might try to retrieve that watch. You never know, it could be a Rolex. £30,000 worth of watch. I wish. So as I say, back at just got back at to South Kyme, and I just wanted to show you this this kayak before I dry it off and put it away. What I was saying about this back support, you can see when you sit in here, it's up against the back of this 8 psi chamber, and my feet kind of reach the end there. If not, if you're a bit shorter, you've got like foot pedals there, or rests, so you can really push the smaller your back into this seat. It really makes a world of difference. It's incredible. And also the size of this area here, I mean, huge. You know, you could get a family tent on that. So it's great if you're into kayak camping. The amount of stuff you can get on the back there. It paddles superbly. I'm really impressed. Cracking little kayak for the money. And as I say, I kind of just bought it for you know, because it's smaller, it's lighter, it's easy to manoeuvre. The only criticism that I do have is that you've got a carry handle on the back here, and you've got one on the front, but you've got none on the side, so actually getting it out of the water can be quite difficult. You know, I mean, it's reasonably high here, so I have to bend over to pick the kayak up, and the only way that I can do it is by actually grabbing onto this area here, to the seat. So I might actually put a couple of handles on here, glue some handles on, because it would make a world of difference. You know, trying to get it this way, for me, is not that simple. And the other thing that I noticed coming back is when you're in quite choppy water, when the wind's on the water, it makes a big sort of noise, which my itty wit tends not to do. But other than that, it's a thumbs up for me for this little kayak. I love it. Brilliant. Right, I'm going to cook some breakfast, I think. So you'll excuse me if I disappear for a little while. Oh, look at that. Now just look at that. Look at this omelette. Egg, cheese, onion, bacon, mushroom and black pudding. And do you know what? If I went somewhere and they charged me £4 for that, I wouldn't be disappointed. Look at that. Yummy. Well folks, that brings me to the end of today's paddle. Didn't get done really what I wanted to. I wanted to get to that lock, have some breakfast, then carry on to Chapel Hill. Wasn't meant to be, certainly not this time of year. Too much scum and weed down by that lock, but I will do it. Just probably when the weather changes a little bit. If anybody's paddled it and managed to sort of get out of that lock, perhaps you could let me know in the comments. Be interested. What can I say about the River Slea? Lovely river. Not a great deal of wildlife, if I'm honest, but you know, enough. I've seen a lot of fish today. The water's so clear that I've seen a lot of fish. Some big, some small, but a lot of them. A few feral cats knocking around. Looks so good, this omelette. A few feral cats, cows, kestrels, buzzards, that sort of thing. Yeah, been really enjoyable. Been quite breezy on the way back. A lot of wind. But sorry, that Go Plus kayak, it's made life easier, I have to say. Very, very impressed. So I've just been speaking to a lad who stops off here regularly. He's a cyclist, got all the kit, you know, really fancy racing road bike, and he's done about 50 miles so far, and he's got another 50 miles to go. Couldn't believe it. 100 mile he's going to be cycling today. Takes some doing that, doesn't it? So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Relatively new channel, and by subscribing it gives me the motivation to do these little kayak camping videos for you. So I'm going to finish the rest of my omelette, drink the rest of my tea, and get back to market raising. So until the next time, all the best.